From a rare venomous bird to a bird that can easily take down and kill a full-grown man, here are 15 of the deadliest birds on the planet. Number 15. The Hooded Pitohui. The Hooded Pitohui is a strikingly beautiful songbird predominantly found in the islands of Papua New Guinea. They've built quite a notorious reputation for themselves, not only to humans who live there, but also the local wildlife. This is a bird that even the most vicious of predators like to stay away from, for risk of certain death. High levels of batrachotoxin, the same toxin used by poisoned dart frogs, are found in Pitohui muscle, heart, and liver. If eaten, the toxin interrupts the normal function of a predator's nerve cells, eventually causing the diner's heart to stop beating altogether. Hooded pitohuis and other toxic birds, such as the 4 other species of pitohuis and the blue captive frida, eat choricine beetles, which themselves contain batrachotoxin. Number 14. The European herringill. Measuring up to 26 inches in length, the European herringgills are not the biggest of birds, but they do make up for that through sheer bravado. Found all across Western Europe, these gulls are notorious for both stealing food and attacks on humans. They have respectable wingspans of between 46 to 61 inches, with razor-sharp beaks up to 2.6 inches long that can cause serious bodily harm. Nesting season is the time when they are extra aggressive, attacking anyone who gets too near to their nests. What's worse is that they seldom go on attacks alone, but rather in teams. Provoke just one of these birds, it will soon gather a posse and go on the offensive to beat you up and steal your lunch money, and probably your life. Number 13. The mute swan. Mute swans are big and beautiful birds, too big and beautiful for our own good. The birds are one of the largest waterfowl in North America and Europe, weighing up to 28 pounds and with a wingspan of up to 7.9 feet. Despite their quiet and graceful appearance, they are one of the most aggressive birds in the world. When it comes to their nests, mute swans are quite territorial. Should you encroach on their territory, accidentally or otherwise, a mute swan will not hesitate to attack you with its lengthy wings. The reason why that's bad is they're very muscular, so don't be surprised if you end up in the hospital after the attack with a broken bone, bruises, and other bodily injuries all from a swan. Number 12. The red-tailed hawk. Red-tailed hawks can be particularly violent and will frequently attack people who are in their territory. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service even advises people to stay away from these aggressive birds. That is easier said than done, as these birds can move really fast. In fact, these birds can dive at 120 miles per hour. If you somehow see one coming for you, it's probably too late to duck. According to Spectrum News, in 2019, a pair of red-tailed hawks sent over a dozen people to the hospital. It was so serious that one man required a total of 17 stitches after the altercation. It is thought that the birds were a mating pair and were guarding a nest on a nearby hotel parking lot. However, no eggs were actually found. It's quite possible they were just jerk birds going on a diving bomb spree just for the heck of it. Stupid birds. Number 11. The peregrine falcon. The peregrine falcon is the undisputed fastest bird in the world. It can reach speeds of up to 200 miles per hour, and luckily it's also fairly small when compared to most of the birds on this list, maxing out at around 19 inches. It may be small, but it's well suited for hunting in midair. Not only are they extremely fast, but they're also armed with razor-sharp claws. They have been known to attack people too, mostly rock climbers who get too near their nests and going to gouge people's eyes, and since they're so fast, these attacks seem to come out of nowhere, and you can't even defend yourself proper. They specialize in hunting smaller birds, plucking them straight out of the sky in mid-flight. They're slowly starting to build their nests closer and closer to human habitation, which might increase the number of human attacks, but is actually more likely to spell disaster on urban pigeon populations. Number 10. The loon. Silly as their name may be, loons are birds that are not to be trifled with. They're armed with a spear-like beak, and although they usually point that towards prey, they can shift their attention to people just as easily. The Press Herald even reports them being able to take down bald eagles by stabbing them in the heart, and although they haven't killed a person yet, they probably could. Some of the danger stems from familiarity. People interact with loons fairly regularly and are quite surprised when the birds turn aggressive. The fact is, like many birds, they get fiercely protective when people approach their young, hence stories of loons attacking humans and even boats, which are quite common. Number 9. The snowy owl. After this, you're gonna go look at Hedwig a little bit differently from now on. Famous for being Harry Potter's pet-male-bird-best character in the highly successful book series and film franchise, the snowy owl is native to the Arctic tundra and is often considered to be the most beautiful species of owl in the world. It is fairly large, typically weighing between 3.5 to 6.5 pounds and has a wingspan of up to 60 inches. They have a short list of predators that include Arctic foxes, jaguars, and wolves, most likely because these birds can hold their own in a fight. They have razor-sharp talons that could drive even the most persistent of predators away, and although humans are more of a threat to them than they are to us, if a person gets too close to its territory, they've been known to attack, targeting the trespasser's head and eyes. Number 8. The lammergeier. It was just a matter of time for a vulture to swoop into this list, and I gotta say that this vulture is a particularly dangerous one, especially for people who don't regularly look up, which is practically all of us. One of the oldest vulture species in the world, lammergeiers, also known as bearded vultures, are large birds that can weigh up to 15 pounds and have a wingspan between 7.55 to 9.19 feet. They inhabit the high mountainous regions of southern Europe, southern Africa, and Asia. Like other vultures, they feed on carrion and bones. While they do eat smaller bones whole, they fly off with the larger bones, dropping it from a great height to shatter them into smaller, bite-sized pieces. They also have a penchant for feeding on hard-shelled tortoises, using the same drop technique to smash into their shells. Now, I think you can see why they're quite dangerous for people who don't look up. Number 7. The bearded owl. Like many animals, they're extremely territorial and will protect their young to a fault. Get too close to a nest, and the next thing you'll see is a flurry of brown and cream feathers and a set of razor-sharp talons. In fact, in 2015, residents in Portland reported 4 barred owl attacks in quick succession. The bird has also been blamed for the death of Kathleen Peterson, who was thought to have fallen down the stairs while defending herself from a barred owl attack. One surefire way not to get attacked is to stay clear of their nests, which is a bit of a problem for people who don't know where their nests actually are. Number 6. The harpy eagle. Considered the most powerful bird in the world, harpy eagles are reportedly able to carry and fly off with up to 5 times its own body weight. That right there translates to these massive birds being able to fly off carrying over 100 pounds. They can be found from Mexico through Central America and all the way down to northern Argentina and South America. Having all that power wouldn't amount to nothing if the harpy eagle didn't have the right tools to use, though. That is where its massive talons come into play. The adult harpy eagle's talon is about 5 inches, the largest talons of any eagle ever recorded. To give you an idea of just how large that actually is, a grizzly bear's front claw is simply 2 to 4 inches. Yeah. Number 5. The Australian magpie. Sometimes a bird doesn't need to be large and have massive talons like the harpy eagle to be considered dangerous. All it needs is to have the tendency for aggression and being in close proximity to people. These are the reasons why the Australian magpie made it to this list. While it is true that a magpie isn't gonna kill ya, probably, if you're gonna be attacked by a bird though, odds are that bird will more than likely be a magpie than any other bird. Don't believe me? Well, one particularly aggressive Australian magpie was shot after 40 attacks on people. 40 attacks. In Australia, there's even a magpie swooping season, a time period when most of the attacks occur, which coincides with the bird's nesting season. If you want to make sure you don't get attacked, stay at least 50 meters away from the nest. A tall order, especially if you don't know where the nests are. Number 4. The ostrich. Now, ostriches aren't actually known to be violent, but they won't shy away from giving any predator a thorough beatdown. Unfortunately, people often qualify as targets. Those powerful legs that terminate in sharp claws can dish out powerful kicks and attacks that often end up with abdominal wounds. And if you don't know it yet, your abdomen is where you keep most of your vital organs. Again, the danger they pose mostly comes from proximity. With 258 ostrich farms in the US alone, they come into contact with people on a regular basis, significantly increasing the risk of attack. In fact, attacks are so common that people actually make survival guides for an ostrich attack. Most attacks aren't fatal though, mostly, and YouTube is actually littered with videos of them. Number 3. The emu. Smaller, but definitely more dangerous than the ostrich is another flightless bird called the emu. Both birds are very similar except for their size, as well as these guys being more likely to attack humans compared to ostriches. In 2015, a man was injured by a wild emu in a wildlife park, and in 2019, it sent an Australian zookeeper to the hospital. Smaller than an ostrich, but by any means not that small, it stands 6 feet tall and can run at speeds of up to 30 miles per hour. They have extremely sharp claws that are similar to knives, which can slice through abdomen like a hot knife through butter. Now it's time for today's best pick. Today's pick shows us a bird bathed in blood, which looks like a scene plucked straight out of a horror movie. But as it always is, reality is stranger than fiction. This photo is 100% real, and get to know the bird responsible for this gore next with number 2, the giant petrel. Some predators don't have a lot of street cred, and the giant petrel is one of them. To survive and thrive in the demanding conditions of the southern latitudes, giant petrels have adapted to a lifestyle of aggressive predatory behavior and relentless scavenging. The photo actually shows one feasting on the carcass of a soon-to-be dead seal that is so fresh, blood can still be seen squirting out of its arteries. While carrion, krill, squid, and fish make up a large part of their diet, they will also take down other birds. Live birds. Not even the massive albatross is actually safe from their onslaught. Before we move on, do me a favor. My analytics show that only about 15% of you watching are actually subscribed. Come on guys, what's up with that? Can you guys please hit the subscribe button? You guys watch my videos every day anyway, so you might as well subscribe and keep up to date with every video we put out. Number 1. The cassowary. The cassowary is a large, flightless bird found in tropical rainforests of New Guinea and Australia. They also have very long, powerful legs with sharp claws, making them possibly the most dangerous bird in the world. With their very long, powerful legs, cassowaries can easily kick down other animals or humans. They also use their long, sharp claws as a weapon to rip any potential predator into pieces. Think of them as the modern equivalent to velociraptors, only bigger and with more feathers. Never approach these birds without a shield of some sort. And if they approach you, I suggest you run. That is, if you can outrun them. Cassowaries can hit a top speed of 31 miles per hour and jump up to a height of 1 meter, which basically means you probably won't be able to outrun them even if you wanted to. Do you know of any other deadly birds that we left out? Let us know down below in the comments. Also make sure to check out the channel's other amazing content. And as always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Later, everybody!